Good morning, everyone. and welcome to this Sunday service of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Grand Traverse. My name is Martha Curtis, and I am a member of the Sunday Services Committee, and today I am joined by Barb Colton, a new and very wise member of the Sunday Services Committee. Grateful for that. Here at UUCGT, we welcome people of every background, identity, age. We especially extend love to families with children. We're building a culture of inclusion and welcome, and this includes the joyful sounds of little ones. Whether you're here with us or coming in online, whether you're here for the first time or the umpteenth time, we're so glad you're here with us. If you're visiting with us today, we'd love to get to know you. We invite you to stand and introduce yourselves if you're comfortable. A microphone will be brought to you by Diane, and this is so that we all can hear you, whether you're online or in the sanctuary. Are there any visitors today? Very good, right here.
Hello, my name is David Love, L-O-V-E, and I just moved here yesterday from Bowling Green, Ohio, where I've been a member of the Maumee Valley Unitarian Universalist Congregation since 1991, and my apartment isn't quite ready, so I have to stay in a hotel for 2 nights, and it'll be ready Monday morning. So I'll be a member here from now on.
If you'd prefer not to introduce yourself, that's okay too. Just enjoy being here and with us today for this service. And if you are new, please grab a yellow mug. This is so we can identify you and greet you. We promise we won't pounce. Later in the service, we'll share joys and concerns of our community. You're invited to write over here. There's a book. You can write yours in the book, and you're also welcome to light a candle at any point during this service to reflect on your joys and concerns. So we have announcements, and in your order of service there are more announcements than I will say right now. So go ahead and use that as a resource you can take home with you. Today's service highlights various soul matters offerings in the life of our community. Stop by the Soul Matters table in the social hall after the service and see Christine Burrun and Susan Leo to learn more. Parking request. If you're able, please park in the new overflow area to the left as you enter the driveway. And there's a really cool map in the flash about this that shows where it is, because I didn't know where it was. This leaves closer spots for visitors or for those with limited mobility. Also, the under one roof funding matching funds deadline is being extended. We are now up to 10,500. We'll be charting our progress here in the building. Now, we have one additional announcement from Veronica. I'm going to pass the Veronica the pulpit for a moment.
Good morning. I'm Veronica Dragovich, and my husband Mark and I are both coordinators of the annual Harvest Gathering. In 2 weeks, on November 23rd, we will gather at the Gilbert Lodge at Twin Lakes Park for great company and lots of good food. Please note this is in place of service here at the church. A short service will begin at 11, followed by our community meal. Please bring a dish to share and your own table service. Pre-registration is appreciated but not required. It's $10 per person or $25 per family. However, if you are experiencing financial hardship, please contact the office, as money should never keep anyone from community. We are also in need of volunteers. As they say, many hands make light work. We'll need help with setup and tear down, kitchen helpers, and people to bring roasted turkeys ready to serve. You can come see me after service today or next week to sign up, but you can also contact the church as well if you're not able to sign up in person. Thank you all. I know we're all looking forward to sharing another wonderful harvest gathering.
Thank you, Veronica. And as we begin, I invite all of you to silence those electronic devices. Please be present for one another. And now, let us worship together.
Hello, I am Barb Colton. I'm the newest member, as Martha said, of the Sunday Services Committee, and this is my first service. I'm also a facilitator for a Soul Matters group and a member of a Creativity Matters group. I have been a lifelong believer in lifelong learning, and I find myself filled with gratitude every time I think about just what being a UU means to me. Ongoing adult RE opportunities via small groups like Soul Matters, Transforming Hearts, Starting Points, Wednesday night potluck, as well as the ever possible participation in a large variety of committees, and sharing and creating and building relationships that deepen over the years. Today's service, Seeds of Gratitude, will highlight reflections on membership in small groups, especially Soul Matters and Creativity Matters. Most of you are familiar with the core topics of these groups, as they are also part of our Sunday service presentations. For instance, this month's topic is gratitude. My own first experience in a small group at UUCGT was participating in the Shanti Diva fan club led by Chris Innes. I continue to belong to this Sangha, a study group on Buddhist beliefs and practices. As part of my opening words, I will read a poem by yoga teacher and poet Dana Foltz. It is called Sangha. From her book of poems titled Go In and In, the focus of the poem seems to capture for me the feel of all the small groups that I've participated in. The ongoing learning to tune in to what is emerging within, to listen to the experience and views of those around me, and to share these gifts with the wider community. This is what learning and growing means to me. There is no reason for this process to ever stop. Okay. Here is the poem, Sangha. Teach me what I cannot learn alone. Let us share what we know and what we cannot fathom. Speak to me of mysteries, and let us never lie to one another. May our fierce and tender longing fuel the fire of our souls. When we stand side by side, let us dare to focus our desire on the truth. May we be reminders, each for the other, that the path of transformation passes through the flames. To take one step is courageous. To stay on the path day after day, choosing the unknown and facing yet another fear, is nothing short of grace. In a moment, Martha will light the chalice, and following the lighting, I will break with our recent tradition and read a couple of passages from the writings of Parker Palmer from his A Hidden Wholeness, which I took from the Soul Matters Facilitator Manual. The final portion of this reading will come later in the service. There was a time when farmers on the Great Plains, at the first sign of a blizzard, would run a rope from the back door to the barn. They all knew stories of people who had wandered off and been frozen to death, having lost sight of home in the whiteout, while still in their own backyards. Today we have a blizzard of another sort. It swirls around us as economic injustice, ecological ruin, physical and spiritual violence. Some of us fear that we or those we love will become lost in the storm. Some of us are lost at this moment and are trying to find our way home. Some are lost without knowing it. May our chalice represent the spark of human connection and creative inspiration, our UU sacred rope. Now let us enter together into a time of contemplation and reverence as we sound our singing bowl, holding our silence until the last reverberation of the bowl can be heard.
Before we begin our opening hymn, I'd like to acknowledge and thank Bill Haggard for playing drums with us this morning on our hymns. Would you all rise in body or in spirit and join us in singing our opening hymn this morning, 1012 in the Teal Hymnal, When I Am Frightened. Mm-hmm. Will you reassure me when
Good morning. If all of our kids want to come forward, I know we've got quite the crew today. Good morning. Hi. I'm going to sit up here. Okay? Okay. That's okay. Hi. Hi. Uh-oh. Hello. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. All right, I want to start us off with a little grounding practice this morning. We've done this one before, so this is called a butterfly hug. So you're going to link your two thumbs together like a butterfly or a bird, whatever feels good to you, and you can put them on your chest. You're just going to kind of alternate taps. Take a couple of deep breaths. Talking about gratitude this morning. So while you continue tapping, think about something that you are thankful for, something you are grateful for. And maybe it's a small thing. It can be a small thing, it can be a big thing, but something that you are grateful for. So in our Youth Soul Matters packet for this month. Today we're talking about the poet Mary Oliver, which I thought was fitting for this service because we're uplifting a lot of our creative people in this congregation, and Mary Oliver was an amazing creative person, amazing poet. So I have a quote from one of her poems, and then I have a little practice for us this morning. Not haikus, it's not a haiku. But we could make a haiku later, yeah, absolutely. I love a haiku. So this quote is a quote from one of her poems about gratitude. So what did you notice? The dew snail, the low-flying sparrow, the bat on the wind in the dark, big-chested geese in the V of sleekest performance. So one of the things that Mary Oliver is best known for is her just close observations of the world. She's one of my favorite poets, personally. And I want us to practice that close observation and a practice of slow looking this morning. So it's going to be a quieter than usual time for all ages. But sometimes it's important to slow down and it's important to look at the small things. I was over writing something in the book and looked outside and it was snowing and heard a child go, "It's snowing." And that is one of the things that we get to learn from our children, that kind of wonder, that kind of excitement. So I'm going to ask all of us to tap into that little part of us this morning that is that wonder, that is that excitement, that is that, it's snowing. Because man, that's an awesome feeling. And man, it's something we need to get through the darkness right now. So this is a practice called slow looking. So oftentimes, our spiritual practices invite us to slow down and observe either the world around us or the stillness inside of us. Today, we're going to appreciate the natural world or even just the room around us and what it gives us to be thankful for. So slow looking means that we're going to pick something to look at. Fortunately, most of us can see out the windows. If you can't, I invite you to turn around and look out the windows behind you. Or you can pick something in the room. But you're going to pick one thing to focus on. Preferably a natural object, but if not, it's okay. So the process of slow looking, you're just going to get comfortable in your seat. You're going to find something to focus your eyes on. And you're just going to take 2 minutes to quietly observe one thing. So pick one spot, and we're going to quietly observe one thing. And what do you notice? So we're practicing intention and attention in this gratitude practice. invite you to come back to this practice throughout the week. Slow down. Take a moment. Notice the small things. We're always moving and constantly busy. Take your time and do a little bit of this slow looking throughout the week and notice the things that you are grateful for. We'll share in a minute. We can go ahead and sing our song.
I'm wondering if any of our children would like to help me lead our song today.
Would anyone help to lead? This morning? I've got a couple volunteers. Go ahead.
I don't do stand, just here. I'll stand here.
Excuse me. All right, perfect. Perfect. Stars, we are children of the earth. We are spinners and weavers in this web of life. And the joy that we weave reaches out beyond the stars and deep within the center of our beings. We are children of tomorrow. We are children of our dreams. We are planners and builders in this web of life. And the future that we weave reaches out beyond the stars and deep within the center of our being. All right, let's head back.
Good morning. I'm Kat Norman. My pronouns are she, they. This is my glorious voice this morning. If it doesn't hold out, Martha's willing to step in and finish for me. I facilitate UUCGT's Creativity Matters Seeds group. Creativity Matters appeared in my life at a pivotal point in the fall of 2022, gradually emerging out of the isolation of the early pandemic, slowly coming to terms with my disability. My creative and spiritual selves felt starved. I needed a way to kickstart my creativity, to reroute creative expression and spiritual practice back into my daily life and into community. My very first project cracked me wide open. The prompt, bring the map of where you belong to life, unleashed my curiosity, creativity, and a fierce desire to be seen as I pondered all the ways that belonging to my body, my communities, and the natural world had irrevocably altered since 2020. In the months that followed, the internal critical voices whispering, "Who do you think you are? You're not an artist," began to wither and die. As fears about revealing my imperfect self and my imperfect art subsided, I took more and more creative risks, following my curious what ifs. And my creative practice grew more and more alive and authentic. It felt powerful and right and real to explore new formats and materials and focus on process rather than product. To recognize that new insights and deeper understanding blossomed out of my creative explorations, not technical mastery. To trust in my own creative instincts and capacity for meaning making. 3 years later, Creativity Matters is not only one of my most important creative outlets, it's my lifeline in the blizzard. A core spiritual practice through which I listen deeply to the works of other thinkers, writers, artists, and musicians, to the natural world, to the various materials that become my projects, to my fellow group members, and to my authentic inner self. With each new project, I head out into the storm, trusting my hand on the rope. Participation in Creativity Matters offers me experiential, creative exploration of our monthly Soul Matters themes, opportunities to pause, reflect, and articulate my new understandings for myself and others, and a loving and compassionate space where my authentic, queer, disabled, profoundly creative, and deeply spiritual self can be more fully seen and heard. In the storm that is 2025, I am deeply grateful for this lifeline. So I can tell you all of this, and the words don't even begin to capture all the richness of Creativity Matters. And I'm thinking a better illustration might be just to invite you into my spiritual and creative journey with last month's theme, which was cultivating compassion. So put your hand on the rope next to mine and follow along. The project began with a broken rocking chair waiting silently in my garage, weather-worn, its plywood slats starting to delaminate, and one rocker falling off. I picked it up with a vague intention of repurposing it in my garden, but I hadn't yet made the time. The chair came to mind immediately when I read the project prompt, inspired by the work of Diana Schwungen. Identify a neglected and broken object and connect it with your compassion in some way. Don't just feel for it, fix it. Making your act of fixing reflect your aesthetic. Well, compassion had carried that chair into my garage in the first place. Rather than just throwing the chair away that no longer fit her needs, my neighbor had opted instead for a compassionate no, setting its battered body out by the road with a note that simply read, "Free, still good." My own compassionate response started with a yes. Despite my fatigue and preoccupation with the dinner, as I drove up the hill after a swim in the bay, something in those curving seat slats cried out to me, reminding me of the hours my neighbor sat contentedly rocking on the deck overlooking her garden. In the heartbeat that it took to decide, I screeched to a halt. I climbed out into the August heat in my still damp bathing suit, and I maneuvered that chair into my already overfull car. The call to action felt that urgent, echoing Rabbi Esther Adler's definition of compassion. I am with you in your pain, and I will help. And once I began to contemplate repair, I realized that my choice of the rocking chair felt heavy with meaning. It evoked deep memories of safety and comfort, being held in loving arms. I felt strongly that my approach to fixing the worn and broken chair also needed to comfort and embrace, to hold the chair as it had held others. I resolved to attach the loosened rocker with some sort of visible mend, not only gluing but wiring it into place. And as an invitation to sit and take the weight off, I began stitching a patchwork cushion out of the backside of a pair of ripped overalls. I literally sacrificed my seat for the seat. I also used soft, upcycled scraps of felted wool sweaters. I repurposed a warm brushed cotton button-down shirt for the chair's back, decorating it with a patchwork of purples, blues, and greens, and to further evoke the sense of safe embrace, I left the shirt's trailing arms intact, capable of wrapping around the unoccupied chair or a person sitting in it. I chose to leave the chair's wooden bones partially exposed, the crossbars and cylindrical uprights at the back. This idea of exposed bones lingered after I listened to Lucinda Williams' Compassion, which is a song setting of her father Miller Williams' poem. Have compassion for everyone you meet, even if they don't want it. What seems conceit, bad manners, or cynicism is always a sign of things no ears have heard, no eyes have seen. You do not know what wars are going on down there where the spirit meets bone. These are words that I adapted into the piece's title. You cannot heal something you're afraid to get near, activist and author Joanna Macy wisely counseled. So as a deliberate act of embodied connection, I began slowly hand sanding the chair's roughened finish down to bare wood in spots, careful to retain the beauty wrought by weather, use, and the passage of time. Sitting cross-legged on the sun-warmed deck, my body wrapped around the chair to hold it still while I worked, and the warm south breeze held me. The sandpaper in my hands also polished away the calluses on my fingers and palms until they too felt as soft and warm as the exposed wood. And as I worked, I began to envision bones emerging up out of the chair's armrests. Oh, so carefully, I tried using a Dremel tool to cut away some of the wood, shaping a simple relief carving of radius and ulna, the forearm bones that would rest there when someone sat in the chair, and then collarbones and a sternum. Joanna Macy stated, "Compassion is what impels you to act for the sake of the larger whole." Or, put more accurately, it is the whole acting through you. This understanding inspired my final overlay of running stitches that mimic the water-like movement of compassion, ripples moving outward from each small individual act of compassion, and the deep compassion of the universe that flows through each of us. Finally, I tucked the handwritten text of Miller Williams' poem superimposed over a drawing of an anatomical heart into the shirt's breast pocket. Located where you would find the actual human heart, this hidden message, capped with driftwood and rusted metal, is intended to evoke viewer curiosity and to remind us to always carry compassion so that we may offer it to those parts of ourselves and others which still have the most growing to do. I'm overflowing with gratitude for my month cultivating compassion. When the nonstop pace of my various responsibilities or my fear and despair over the unrelenting news coverage of destruction and hate grew too heavy, I sought solace and renewal in the quiet, steady rhythm of pulling my threaded needle through small, fraying pieces of fabric, searched for peace within repetitive motions of slow hand sanding until my own breath slowed. Notice small details while staying present, letting go of any need for perfection or progress. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. These are the words that Allie Halpert sings in one of the songs that became my month's soundtrack. Each of my efforts imbued the broken chair with new life, amplifying its voice and adding to its story the transformative possibilities set free by compassion. We can find worth and meaning by the side of the road. We can repair that which is broken without erasing history or insisting upon a return to the same state as before. We can remember there are wars going on down there, down where the spirit meets bone. Compassion is the whole moving through us, and we do not have to carry the world's anger, worry, fear, or sorrow in our muscles and bones. Let us join now together for a brief moment of stillness.
It is now time for our offertory. Our community is a refuge where we can keep the ember of hope alive when all the world seems intent on dousing it. And then we can use our little ember to light a beacon for the rest of our community. Our offerings each week sustain this community so we can share our small embers to light a dark world. Please give generously so that we can all together help spread the light. The ushers will now collect the morning offering. The baskets have two sides. The red side is for community outreach, such as Father Fred, other local food pantries, Safe Harbor. The blue side is for sustenance of our congregation. Other ways to give are shown on the screen. No matter how you give, please state on the memo line or the comment area where you would like your funds directed. Our meditation music, inspirations, will accompany the basket passing.
Hi, my name is Lisa Del Bono. I use she, her, and hers pronouns. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to share my reflection on the Soul Matters work. Susan Leo is my facilitator, and simply put, the hard work she's put into creating a contemplative community has served as a regenerative lifeline to me during these really difficult times, not unlike Parker Palmer's rope in the snowstorm. So this month's topic was nurturing gratitude, and what I'll do now is share the reflection that just came to me after reading through the materials and doing some writing. So for me personally, one cannot reflect on gratitude without also reflecting on grief. As Patricia Campbell Carlson says, grief and gratitude are kindred souls, each pointing to the beauty of what is transient and given to us by grace. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's start by acknowledging the fact that most of you probably don't know who I am. I am an infrequent visitor to the Sunday service, but a handful of you, Jane, Mary, Mike, know me from the work that I've done in terms of climate advocacy over the years, and through my participation in various other UU activities over the 25 years I've actually lived in this community. And the last time I stood up here in front of this congregation, Mary and I had just, along with several other climate advocates, including my son, had just returned from DC. And we were excited about the experience and felt gratitude for this opportunity. As Mary beautifully wrote in the Record Eagle soon afterwards, spending time recently in Washington, D.C. lobbying for climate change legislation had transformed her thinking and my thinking. Rather than giving up on the federal government, we realized that we were part of this thing we called democracy. You know, it was a time when I still had faith in our system of governance. In fact, I believed with all my heart and soul that democracy was the solution to climate change. At that time, the full impact of Citizens United and money in politics was not yet so obvious, and misinformation was not nearly so prevalent. We were in the infancy of our social media silos and did not fully appreciate our echo chambers. So it was a day of expressing gratitude and celebration, but not only because of the hope we were holding for meaningful climate legislation, but more importantly, it was also, and this sends chills as I think about it, the Sunday after the Supreme Court had decided in favor of same-sex marriage. It was June of 2015. There were balloons and streamers and singing and dancing, a day full of celebration and gratitude for what our representative democracy could be at its finest, and what I genuinely believe it will be again, but hopefully in an even more authentic and effective form. For as Pema Chodron describes, all things fall apart and all things come back together again. They fall apart and they come together again, like our breath in and out, like our universe expand and contract. It is just like that. So let's hold on to this joyful vision of a government upholding the will of the people by making same-sex marriage the law of the land as a lifeline in the blizzard. And let's hold on to that vision of last Tuesday night's election, in which we, the people, showed up in masses on an off year and voted into power a diverse group of leaders at all levels of government who represent our will. Let's hold on to the generative vision of a reality-based representative democracy. One vote, one person, without the influence of big corporate money or special interest. A government in which all people, regardless of skin color, sexual preference, cognitive or physical limitations, can thrive. Let's breathe that vision into our very souls with gratitude for what has been and grief for what we are witnessing come apart in this moment. And allow that vision to power each of us with generative acts of kindness, compassion, forgiveness, and resilience to heal the polarization and inform what I have come to call the great coming together to rebuild a democracy that works for all of us. May it be so.
I think it's a good time to do our joys and concerns. It is our practice as a religious community to set aside time in our service to name and honor the joys and concerns that mark our lives, the milestones and moments of a lived experience. I will be sharing the joys and concerns that have been offered up for us to hold on our hearts as we're gathered today. If you have a joy or concern that is too tender, too heavy to share, I invite you to reach out to Reverend Alex or one of us on the congregational care team. And I'm sure there are some members here today, but we have a purple ribbon under our name tag, so you can find us. You can also light a candle at any time during the service to honor your joy or concern, and during our stone meditation, knowing that you're held in the loving hearts of this community, because none of us is meant to travel life's journey alone. Here's what's been shared with the gathered community. And I had a hard time reading a few of these, so I might need some help. Let's see, the first thing on the 9th is a joy, and it's by Jill Hamill, and she says, singing in the community feeds my soul. So I think she's in the community chorus. A joy is a great visit with our 93-year-old mom, 93, in Northport, 3 generations. Here's a happy birthday to Max Olbear for his 90th birthday. It's on Tuesday. There he is. Yay, Max. This isn't a joy because some of you do know Joanne Sheard, and she broke her hip and had to have surgery, and so she's at Orchard Creek. And I know that she's in room 6, but I was notified that you better look it up on Google because there are 3 buildings, and I'm not sure which building she is in, but it might give you a clue because she would be there for PT and that kind of assistance. Peter Brower is recovering nicely from knee replacement. And this is all from Margaret Wozniak, who always seems to know what's going on. In a good way. I don't want you to get the wrong impression. Let's see. We're very happy to share that one daughter, Caroline, and her 2-year-old her 2-plus-year-old boyfriend, Gordon, just cemented their engagement. We had to come. One trip to San Diego the week before was, let's see, I should have glasses on, was canceled due to the government shutdown, and hope to, I think it's to go back again in January. This is from Marty and Lori Hayden. Okay, now Jim and Sylvia Walworth have a joy. Next weekend, we'll attend the presence of our grandsons and a former UUCGT member, Neil Endicott's latest, and we'll hear his latest composition performed by the Michigan Philharmonic. That's great. Do you want to say anything more? The Walworths?
Tickets are available.
Okay, I didn't see where you were sitting, but I thought I might have not read that correctly. Okay. As an act of climate concern and justice, Emily Mitchell, a member of your social justice team, Emily has joined the Cloud Appreciation Society, in addition to all that is happening among humans, save the troposphere. Okay. And those are all the joys and concerns, unless someone wants to add something. Well, we'll have a moment of stillness for the concerns and joys that remain in the silence of our hearts. And I'm glad we have added the stone meditation, because I've noticed a number of you coming up. And it's another way where you can honor your feelings. So as we continue with our time of joys and concerns, as you feel moved, you're invited to come forward, take a stone, and place it in the bowl of water. This is not a time of words, but a chance to bring what is in your heart into the circle of community, trusting that it's held in love and care. As you feel ready, please come forward.
Would you please join me in singing our song of response, Spirit of Life? Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind,
This is Cooper and his girlfriend, Milla. Cooper's on the right. So I would imagine many of us are grateful for our canine friends. And I am grateful for all of you and this congregation. And I have been a member of the Creativity Matters group led by Kat Norman since last spring, and it has been a vital catalyst in my own creative process, reflection, and sharing. I'm a dancer that has started to compose poetry. And this Creativity Matters was like a haven, like the Parker Palmer's rope, a guide, a welcoming place to share my experiments in a discipline unfamiliar to me. Also, seeing the work of other artists has been enormously inspiring. Key to the process of creativity is presence, being in the moment, fully engaged. That sense of wonder that Chelsea talked about is part of that we can receive that. And we ask people in the congregation to be present for one another at the beginning of every service. And at Creativity Matters and Soul Matters, we practice deep listening, holding the space with our presence while others share without interrupting, walking with them, holding the rope. I made a commitment to be present during my dog walks on January 21st. We all know what happened then. I wanted to stop obsessing about the news. And this was a survival tactic, like the rope, a lifeline, a leash. What has followed is the diary of dog walking poems. And now there are 159 poems. I thought I was dabbling. Yeah, there they are. What this has given me is the wonder, the miracles, to observe the miracles of nature, seasonal change, and the wondrous antics of doggies brought into full focus. And I'm telling you, that's good living. That is good living. So today, I will share with you an experiment. An embodied poem from the diary of dog walking poems. Two dogs walk on this November day. Brisk, cool breezes on our sunlit way. Dogs rustle through leaves, damp and deep. Our dog's the very best company to keep. Puffy white cloud over a vast blue sky. I walk close to Milla. Cooper bounds by. Suddenly, dogs dash every which way and that. They go this way and that way. A elaborate display. It's a mystery why dogs went on that tear, I should say. I asked them. They would not share. Hearing wind in the trees over golden forest floor, dogs now content. What could I want more? Grateful. And now we will hear from Scott Taylor in his short video about soul matters?
4 minutes for folks. So, all right, so here we go. So what I always tell newcomers to any church I've served is, if you want to understand UU theology and Unitarian Universalism, you have to get out of the mindset of doctrines and beliefs and instead get into the mindset of eyeglasses and broken hearts. So what do I mean by eyeglasses and broken hearts as a way to understand our UU theology? So let me give you an example by speaking about my daddy. So I'm a preacher's kid. My pop is a Christian minister. He was when I was growing up and still is. And if you talk to my father, what I think you would hear him say in a number of different ways is that he puts on his Christian eyeglasses, right? With the eyeglasses his Christian tradition has given him. When he looks out at the world with those Christian eyeglasses, what pops out for him as if in neon lights is people struggling with sin. And I mean that with huge respect for my father, right? So what he sees, what he notices is people struggling with a sense of having a stain on them maybe, or struggling with a sense of unworthiness, and seeing that has broken his heart. And out of that brokenheartedness, he has given his life to offering the world the gift of forgiveness and God's acceptance. Now, that I honor that as a gift. I don't think my dad is wrong. I don't think his glasses are broken or odd. I just think those are his glasses that help him see the world in a particular way. And I would argue that, as opposed to my father, when I put on my Unitarian Universalist glasses, what pops out for me, and I would argue for all of us, is not so much sin, but separation. So what we notice is not so much people struggling with a sense of unworthiness, but of people struggling with a sense of separation. And I should argue too that I just got notice about a month ago from my doctor that I currently have bifocals. They're telling me I maybe need to think about this thing called trifocals. I don't know if anybody has the trifocals, right? But I would argue that our Unitarian Universalist glasses are trifocals. So they don't make just us see and notice separation. They help us notice separation in 3 particular ways: separation from ourselves, life, and others. And noticing that, seeing people struggling with separation from self, life, and others, that has broken our hearts. And so our Unitarian Universalist faith has given itself over to the work, we give our lives to the work of offering the world, doing the work of healing spiritual disconnection. We help people reconnect to their inner self, life, and others. And in particular, I would say we do that in 3 different ways. So you might want to say these are our lifelines or our core theological commitments. We help people listen to their deepest self, open to life's gifts, and serve needs greater than their own: self, life, and others. And you'll notice as I finish this up that you'll notice I couldn't help but use my hands there. So here I want to real quick credit the RE children of First Unitarian Church of Rochester, because as we made this our mission statement to help people listen to their deepest selves, open to life's gifts, and serve needs greater than their own, our kids came up with hand signs. So it's a little bit cheesy, but I guarantee if you memorize these hand signs, you'll have the theology memorized. So listen to your deepest self, onto your heart, open to life's gifts, and serve needs greater than your own.
I invite you all to rise in body or in spirit and move these thoughts and reflections in our bodies and with our voices. This boat is steady, this boat is sure. When you're ready, storm, tempest tossed. Even if you feel that all is lost, you've heard the thunder roar, had a look at heaven's door. If you're sinking like a stone, this boat will carry you home. This boat is steady, this boat is sure. When you're ready, climb aboard. When you're ready, grab an oar. This boat will carry us to the farthest shore. In this boat, there's nothing we can't do together, no matter the weather. No matter that the charts aren't ours, we will navigate by the stars. This boat is ready, this boat is sure. When you're ready, climb aboard. When you're ready, grab an oar. This boat will carry us to the farthest shore. This boat will carry us to the farthest shore.
I invite you to join hands or use the signal that says, "Don't touch me," if that is where you're at right now, and that's understandable with the stuff that's going around. We are going to release the flame, and as Parker Palmer says, in his own experience of the blizzard, which includes getting lost in it more often than I'd like to admit, it tells me that the soul's order can never be destroyed. It may be obscured by the whiteout. We may forget or deny that its guidance is close at hand, and yet we are in the soul's backyard with chance after chance to regain our bearings. May the rope of connection and the spark of inspiration be with you, be with all of us as we go forward. Give hands a squeeze. May it be so.
Overdid it with this, covered with, oh, don't worry about it. A little ginger, actually.